Welcome to AeroMechanical's year-end 2011 webcast. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening. We will be having a conference call tomorrow to discuss the results, and I'd like to tell you that we're very pleased with what we're about to present. The first slide is our normal disclaimer slide. I'm not going to read it to you because the print's too small, so I'll start talking about what happened in 2011. 2011 was a year of building, and we spent a lot of time and a lot of money getting the 228 out, getting it certified so it could fly, and getting its big brother, the 228S, ready for its certification process. In 2011, we signed new contracts for 31 aircraft in North America, Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, and it was a mix of AFIRS 220s and 228s. There were 24 220s signed and 7 228s signed. We also signed operations in Kazakhstan, part of the former Soviet Union, which is a first entry for us into the former Soviet bloc countries where there's large growth expected, and we are focusing our efforts for some of our Middle East people. We also opened 2 command centers in Nigeria. We were paid to set up the command centers, the screens, the data feeds, and people are using the AFIRS systems to feed flight tracking and flight follow systems in Nigeria as part of a government mandate. 2012 has started off with a bang. We've signed 3 contracts now. The slide only has 2 because there was one signed late last week. We signed a Canadian carrier for 19 aircraft and NetJets Europe for 30 aircraft. The interesting thing in the new signings is the mix. The mix has shifted to 45 AFIRS 228s and the balance being AFIRS 220s. So the slow sales last year, we attribute a lot of that to people waiting to see the 228, but the fact that carriers are taking both 220s and 228s this year gave us great comfort that the 220s in inventory will be used. The big news was the NetJets contract. We feel that this is a marquee customer for us. NetJets is the largest fractional business aircraft operator in the world and has the second largest fleet of jets in the world after the merged United and Continental in the US, not counting the US military, of course. So the fact that they've put their faith in our products to deliver solutions for them is really good. The 30 Hawker aircraft is the start of what we believe will be a 150 aircraft installation in Europe. We only have a contract for the 30, not the full 150. We believe it will roll out to be 150 aircraft in Europe, and we hope that that will drive into the NetJets US fleet, which totals another 800 aircraft, so 950 aircraft in total. We've been working for 2.5 years with NetJets to prove our system, to show that what we can do. In May, we did a flight test on the AFIRS 228 on a NetJets aircraft, and pictured on this slide is the aircraft, the NetJets aircraft we did those test flights on. Steve Harkey, our product manager, that built the 228, and he's holding the 228 that's actually installed on that aircraft today. The exciting thing about that contract is that we got $1.5 million up front on a $6 million contract for 5 years, and that should hopefully allude to the fact that we are generating cash from the sales that we are generating and have the business moving in the direction we want it to. Some of the other recognitions in 2011 was a demonstration that we did at the request of the BEA of our FlightStream product at an ICAO meeting, the International Civil Aviation Organization, in Montreal in December of last year. We presented our live data streaming to an audience of regulators, airlines, OEMs, and showed that you can do triggered data streaming in real life. And the BEA, in their final report on the Air France accident, has recommended that a mandate be put out for triggered data streaming because we've been able to show that it can be done. We also received patents in Europe and China for our technologies. This is very good for us to protect our intellectual property as we start to expand our footprint into those markets. We're working very hard with the large airlines in China as well as OEMs around the world to make AFIRS a standard in this industry. The extension of the Iridium frequency approval in China bode well for us. And at NBAA, we met with 13 OEMs, and the Chinese delegation explained to them that if they want to use iridium in China, they need to do it with flight equipment. It was a very exciting show for us, and I think helped bring our company to the forefront in the business aviation world. We also received an award in Alberta, the Alberta Export Award, for advancing technologies companies for the highest growth in exports for any company in Alberta. It was really nice to receive that award and recognition by companies in Alberta that we're doing something different and getting our products out there. The AFIRS 220 has been a solid box. It's provided great service to our customers, and we're very pleased to announce that on March 9th of this year, the AFIRS 220 crossed the 1 million flight hour mark for our customers. The map on the screen shows where our customers' aircraft were on a particular day. Shows that we have global coverage. We have customers all over the globe using AFIRS very successfully, saving money and helping operate their airline more efficiently. So one thing that we are going to do, hopefully after the AGM this year, is change the name of AeroMechanical Services. So we are going to change the name to Flight Aerospace Solutions Limited. The proposal for the shareholders' vote will come up at the annual general meeting, and we have reserved the symbol FLY on the TSX. So if after May 5th you can't find AMA, look for FLY, which we feel is a much better symbol and a much better name for our company and the services we provide. So the AFIRS 228 is a big program. People inside the industry and people in the investment community have been wondering about the progress. We're very pleased to announce that the 228B has been completed. The base unit for the 228 has one modem in it. It's passed all of the testing and certification required to be installed on an aircraft. That includes DO-160 tests, the Iridium certification tests, as well as STCs on 3 models now that can be installed and running. This is a picture of a 228 with the first aircraft to go commercial with the box on it, and we're very proud to have that done. As you saw on the slide previously, we're adding new customers, and we've demonstrated the real-time functionality of this box, which is now generating revenue. The 228S, we've finished the alpha hardware. We've done tests. It worked very, very well. There were some tweaks that needed to be done to some of the new cards that are in the 228S. The beta hardware will be ready May 1st, the software will be finished by May 30th, and the testing and certification begins then. There's a lot of regulatory bodies out there that have to go through those tests, so we're not sure of a date. We're forecasting 4th quarter. We hope it's sooner, but because of the regulatory bodies that have to go through it, we can't predict exactly when that'll be. It's interesting that we have 65 units in the backlog on the 228S. But what we've done is made the 228B and the 228 interchangeable on the aircraft. When you've installed the provisions for a 228B, we can put a 228S in that slot, and away you go with a certified solution. So we are installing today with Bs. We'll take those Bs back and put S's on those aircraft, and then we can use the 228Bs for other sales, or we can upgrade them to 228S hardware because the majority of the interior is identical between the two products. So as I said, we're looking for our first commercial install in Q4 of the 228S. We know it's been a long time coming, and the patience of the industry and our investors is greatly appreciated. So I'm going to turn it over now to Tom French. Tom's going to talk about our financial results for the year. I'm very happy with the progress we made in a year where people were waiting for our new products. The fact that our sales grew is really good. The fact that we've reduced our R&D expenses is exceptional, and we feel we're on our way for 2012. So thanks again for your support, and here's Tom.
Thank you, Bill. I'm Tom French, CFO and Vice President Finance at AeroMechanical Services. I'll start by reviewing the 4th quarter results. While the revenue for the 4th quarter grew 12.7% year over year, the details of that revenue paint the real picture. Installation revenue grew by 148%, or $426,000. monthly recurring revenue grew by about $51,000, and what kept the overall increase from being larger was the revenue related to the operation centers in Nigeria that occurred in 2010 and didn't occur in 2011. For 2011, shipments or installation revenue was up about 35%, or $446,000 for the year. The monthly recurring revenues were up 6%, or $173,000, and other revenues, such as part sales and consulting revenue, was up 26%, or $162,000. Overall, we saw continued growth in revenue across all areas of the business in 2011. We believe this increase is due to a financial strengthening throughout the whole aviation industry. Now, moving to the net loss for the year, there was a 27% decrease, which was primarily because of a decrease in research and development expenses. The R&D expenses decrease was a result of bringing the 228 development project to Calgary in early 2011 and the resulting tight fiscal and project control implemented on the project. The numbers highlighted that loss before R&D was almost the same in 2011 as 2010, even though the overall loss was greater. If we look at specific expense categories, administration expenses also decreased, though the finance costs related to the debenture issued in 2010 offset those decreases. Other expense categories remained relatively unchanged from 2010. Now, because of the questions I get about unearned revenue, I thought I'd spend some time explaining unearned revenue as well as prepayments and customer deposits. Those items are significant, and it is important to understand how they are accounted for. Non-refundable customer deposits are amounts that are received for AFIR sales or parts that have not yet been shipped to the customer. At the end of 2011, the amount in that account was about $1 million. Then we have unearned revenue. After a kit ships, the customer deposit is moved into unearned revenue. It must be noted that these amounts are non-refundable. Again, the balance at December 31st, 2011 in those accounts was about $1.9 million. Revenue is recognized when a customer is installed and is using AFIRs. In 2011, $2.2 million moved from unearned revenue to revenue. This slide displays our financial summary. The negative modified working capital of $279,000 would be positive $1.5 million if we factor in the amounts in dispute with SNC of $1.8 million. The company's position is that the services invoice were not received. That said, the amount has been included in accounts payable. The long-term debt on the balance sheet consists of debenture from December 2010 and some government programs such as the SADI repayable investment announced in early 2011. It is important to note that we keep detailed financial models that are adjusted for changes in revenue and expenses. Based on those results during the year, plans moving forward are adjusted to meet the goals of the company. Overall, we believe it was a good fourth quarter and year, and we met the targets that were set at the beginning of the year. Thank you for watching this video. We will be holding a conference call on Wednesday, April 11th at 2 p.m. Call-in details are available on this slide or on our website.